Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And do I have a Roger Palm in the courtroom or on Zoom? Roger Palm. Mr. Ross, have you been able to tell Mr. Palm about this hearing today?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you have proof of that, like an affidavit from the sheriff or whoever served him?
You call police. Please more. Please have Kadani or Lottie. Kadani, Please when I serve Kadani or Roger Palmer.
Your Honor, when I saw Mr. Palmer, Roger Palmer, at the residence, I called the police. The police came and the police said that they cannot serve Mr. Palmer this document, this paper, because this document is no good.
So, Mr. Ross, what do you have with you there? Is that all the information that you got from the court for you?
Your Honor, this is a document that judge gave to me from the previous hearing, Your Honor. Judge Grant gave to me.
So what you needed to do after that hearing was to either have a family or a friend or law enforcement or a business give that all to Mr. Palm. That packet of information is all the things you filed with the court and the notice of today's hearing. I can set this for another day and you can see about getting him information for the next hearing.
Your Honor, Mr. Roger is a violent person. All my friends cannot. All my friends. Your Honor, Mr. Roger Palmer is a violent person, and all my friends, they all afraid of him. If the police cannot serve him, what can I do?
The police should be able to serve that, or you could hire a business that does legal service. What I think what happened is that they thought you had an order to serve when you called 911.
When you call 911.
What jurisdiction is this?
Your Honor, I was ill and I appeared by phone and I got this paper, and I think a week after I came to court, Your Honor, I saw Mr. Roger Palmer, so I called 911. These are the paper that I have. That the police supposed to serve Mr. Palmer. And for some reason, I hand this paper over to the police. I walked to the police vehicle, and the police vehicle, and then the police did something, and then came back and told me that this paper is no good.
So what I'm going to direct you to do is, who you talk to is a deputy on the road, as opposed to the department of the sheriff's office that handles getting notice to people. So we're going to start again and give you another hearing.
How sheriff?
Your
Honor, on that day, I came back to the courthouse. I came back to the window outside, and then they did some paperwork for me, and again, and then I present that paperwork to the sheriff, the other police right here, also on that day.
Okay. And so you went across the hallway here in this lobby and talked to the front counter of the sheriff?
Yes, Your Honor. I came to the counter and then they redo the paperwork for me, and then I took the paperwork and then I went to the police, the sheriff, and met with a female officer there, and they took my paper and gave me a copy. This is the one I have.
Okay. And then that was the right thing to do. Then did you check back with them? Did they get that information to Mr. Palm?
The officer told me that she will call me, let me know, but so far I received no call from anybody.
Would you like to?
And she gave me a phone number to call to check on this. But when I call and I only hear the song and nobody pick up the phone.
I would suggest we'll keep the interpreter here and have you just go next door and see if they've got information for you to bring to the court, if they served him or not.
Hello. I'm doing right now, Your Honor.
Right now, and then come back in here and we'll see.
Then I looked at
Mr. Lim, just mute. We'll be back with you soon. I'll keep tabs, nothing beyond 12.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, I will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Representing Mr. Bailey?
I'm representing both.
Okay.
And just for the purposes of efficiency, Your Honor, if I might make a suggestion, I think we should probably just consolidate the testimony from both cases into one hearing.
Okay.
These cases are very, very similar. There's two different respondents, but they're concerning very similar incidents.
The same incident and occurrence
yeah.
is what I thought it was, and I'll talk to Ms. Hoy and Mr. Clark about that. But let me just kind of see if I can clear the decks here a little bit. So this is who?
Robert Bailey.
Mr. Bailey. All right, Mr. Johnston.
Mr. Johnstone is seated to my
Okay,
right.
Johnstone. All right, Mr. Bailey, if I could have you just give me that table for a moment, and I'm going to ask some other folks here, just kind of see where we are on these other matters. So do we have Jesse Joseph? Jesse Joseph not in the courtroom, not on Zoom. Were you able to serve Jesse Joseph for let Jesse Joseph know about today's hearing?
So the sheriff's department, I called them every day and he hasn't been served. They think he's avoiding service. And I've had another off-duty officer that's a friend to try to serve this weekend. It was unsuccessful.
Okay. And just looking, yeah, we don't have anything from the sheriff. Sometimes they file things, but really it's up to you to make sure it gets in here. They haven't told us anything. So what are you asking the court to do today then?
Well, so on the 16th of last month, Jesse showed up at my house.
So I know that, but what are you asking for the court to do today? We issued a temporary restraining order and you were unable to serve him. What do you want the court to do today? Do you want me to continue this to another day, keep the order in effect, end the case today? What do you want?
Keep the order in effect.
Okay.
So what I wanted to share just a moment ago.
I'm not going to take any testimony because I can't without him present.
I have a question if I can ask.
Sure, but not testimony.
So I was told if he shows up at my house to call 911.
Right.
So I did that.
Right.
And they showed up and said they couldn't serve him either.
I don't know. Was that the sheriff?
It was Lacey.
I would suggest it. Who?
Lacey PD.
Lacey.
Based on where I live.
Don't know why they said that. Have you
I
maybe
didn't have
talked to a
copy of the
supervisor?
order, and they said they could not take it. I've done everything that I can.
Did you talk to a supervisor, Lacey? I think that's probably your next step. That doesn't make sense. I don't know what was going on there, but they should have been able to do that.
Everybody says everybody should be able to do something, and
Yeah,
it's not actually.
That's why I would suggest that you contact, higher ups at Lacey if they're going to be responding to your home. And if that's the agency you're working with, you said the sheriff.
Well, when I called the sheriff, when I talked to the sheriff this morning, and they put me in touch with another person through non-emergency dispatch,
Right.
and they called me and they told me it's Lacey PD that's supposed to serve it,
Okay.
which doesn't make any sense because Lacey PD showed up and said they can't, but it's the sheriff's department that has it.
All right. Call Lacey. Say, I need an order served. How do we do that? And they have a whole way of doing that rather than just calling 911. And that was a good idea. And I don't know what the problem was there. I can't speak for them. I don't know, but I don't know. What I'll do here is set another court date. We're going to talk about that. The order will stay in effect until then. Of course, if you see him at any time, you call 911. But in the meantime, sounds like talk to the city of Lacey, tell them I need to get an order served on somebody. How do we do that? You could also hire a business that does this, a service business there. You pay them.
I have his address still. I'm just, it's.
And that is something that maybe a business that does legal service, they dig around and try and find addresses. I don't know what police do. I don't know if they just count on an address that you give them. I don't know. But that's also an option. It costs money. You have to decide, kind of for yourself. I don't know why he was right there, why they didn't do that. So we're going to talk about another court date. It's always on Mondays in the morning. Let me get things in. 18th, that just gives you 2 weeks. You can go to any Monday, whatever you want to do. The order's in effect throughout. What do you?
Yeah, that sounds great. So if he continues to avoid service, do I just keep coming back every 2 weeks?
Well, at some point we have to kind of end it, but that's why I'm saying, there are lots of different ways to do this. You could hire an attorney who's really, they kind of skook them in this work, who does work with protection orders and things like that. They're going to kind of know the ins and outs. You can hire a business that does legal service. They do it as a business. They find people, they get them served. You can work with law enforcement. You can have a family or a friend, but law enforcement, I think, is probably going to count on the address that you give them. And if you don't have an address, I don't know how much they're going to do to search around for an address for him.
And so if he's avoiding service, because the sheriff made contact with him, if he's avoiding service, then I'm just saying, I know I have options to hire somebody. And if he knows there's an order and he's just allowed to keep avoiding service, and I don't, you know what I mean? Like there's nothing that can just be granted because he's not doing that.
We've granted a temporary order and it can only be in effect for a particular amount of time. And there has to be a hearing where he's allowed to be heard. And this can't go on for months and months and months because everybody has constitutional rights to be heard on certain things. These are an exception for a short period of time to offer protection, but no, not every 2 weeks for the next year, no. So we've got to, that's why I know you're the one who's asking protection. You shouldn't have to go through this. And here you are, and it's completely unfair, I'm sure, in your mind. But those are some of the options. And if this is important to you, you may want to choose a different option than just law enforcement if that's not working. But that's up to you. You've got to decide, will you or won't you, kind of thing. So we've got this order in effect. Of course, it can't be enforced against him until he has notice of it, which means he gets notice of this, that he's not supposed to have contact with you. So do you have any questions about some of the ways to get this done that might be more effective?
No, the person who's been trying to serve is an opted officer in addition to the sheriff.
Okay.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
Hiring a fucking company. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know you're frustrated, but please don't swear in court.
Yeah. Well, when I fucking start,
Don't
when
swear
I
in
show
court.
up dead, you know where I'm at.
Well, I'm hoping you'll be able to get law enforcement's attention, or maybe you need to go hire a company that does this for what they do every single day and kind of do their background checks. You know, lawyers are good. If you need that help, that's up to you to talk to someone and see and make sure that if you did, that it's someone who really knows how to deal with protection orders, something that they do a lot of, so that it's not something new to them. So we're going to give you this order, setting the date. This goes along. A new service packet will get emailed or handed. We're going to email you to that email you gave us, the new service packets. You'll have that, and then you'll make the decision. You know, you could take a lot of different ways to get service out there too. You know, you could deal with law enforcement and hire a company, and you know, it's up to you. But sounds like law enforcement isn't making it happen. So.
So can I get a physical copy also so I don't have to go and print it again?
Of the service packet?
You want to take that over to the civil office and make a copy of it, give all.
All right, so that's it. Okay, so Erica Warren, you're in court here. All right. And Jesse Joseph is in court. Got you both here. And I'm looking back and forth here because I have two screens and my file's electronic. So just so you know what I'm doing, I am listening. I just have to look at things this way. So just give me a moment to get everything going. All right. So Ms. Warren, then you're still asking for this order? Okay. And Mr. Joseph, you're objecting this order?
So yes.
It's up to you.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we'll go forward today. And first off, Ms. Warren, you're prepared to go forward today? All right. Mr. Joseph, you're prepared to go forward? Yes. Okay. I need people to answer out loud because we're recording. So, all right. So you were served August 5th. We're enough time to prepare. What we're working off of is, of course, this petition. And let me just re-review. I've read a lot of things in the meantime, but I think I know where I am on this. Just re-familiarizing myself with the allegations. And Mr. Joseph, you haven't filed anything in response to this. We're just going to hear from you directly.
Yes, I would think, because this is my first time ever dealing with this kind of a situation.
Okay. Well, that's fine. You don't have to file anything. I just want to be sure that I'm not missing anything. All right. So I'm going to start over here with Ms. Warren, ask her if there's anything more or something I should focus in on or anything more she wants to say about this. And then I'll turn to you and hear from you, and I make a decision whether this temporary restraining order or protection order that we issued continues after today or not. And so So Ms. Warren, what would you like to add or say or focus in on or?
When the additional videos that I had submitted from July 16th, he had come over again to my house after the sheriff's office had called him, letting him know that they were going to serve paperwork. He came and he wouldn't leave. Admitted twice on the video, you know, to the damage he had caused to my vehicle, my property. And I'm just really tired and want this to stop.
So we signed this temporary order July 1st, and then I think we reissued when we were unsuccessful getting service to Mr. Joseph to let him know that this is going on. And then July 16th, were you there for those discussions or overheard?
I was there. It was, I had just come out of my house to lock up my gate that I had recently installed to park my car in my carport. And I saw what looked like his vehicle at the entrance of my house. And then the vehicle had pulled out. So I, you know, went about my business and I was opening the gate and then he pulled up. And then 3 nights after that, one of the 12 security cameras that I recently installed shows him driving by as a passenger. So
after the 1st, you mean 3 nights after the 1st of July?
3 nights after the 16th.
After the 16th. So the 16th and July 19th. Okay. And so again, what did you see on July 19th then?
He drove by my house around 3:30 in the morning as a passenger in another vehicle.
Okay. And how did you know it was Mr. Joseph?
You see on my security camera, you can see his head look out the window as they're driving by very slow.
So you recognize Mr. Joseph? And I need to answer out loud.
Yes.
Okay. And it was 3 o'clock in the morning. So drove by on this, what street is that again? And so this is July 19th, about 18 days after served, or no, 3 days after he was served. Is that what you're correct? Okay. I have an affidavit from law enforcement. They served him on August 5th, not in July. So can you explain what happened on the 16th?
So the first order was issued. So there was 3 orders that were reissued. The sheriff's office had contacted him. I'm not sure if it was on the 16th or on the 15th, notifying him that they had an order to serve and then asking him when he would be home. Which prompted him to come over to work things out. And that's when I called Lacey PD.
Okay, so he came over on the 16th, but he had notification from the officers, maybe by phone, is what you heard through the officers, but didn't have I can't say that he had knowledge of the provisions of the order yet.
He hadn't been served yet. And then Lacey PD, I had a copy of the order of the service packet, and they said that they weren't able to serve him. Sergeant Parker, I spoke with him. He's the training supervisor. He said that was an administrative error and they were new officers and that they should have served him that day. And he was at my house.
Right. But August 5th, this court issued another reissuance and then it was finally served. Okay. So let's see. All right. And then, so this goes back to what you've relayed in your information. Way back to, it's December. When you first met, December of 2023. Okay. And then, all right, then you detail March and April events and into June. And then the assertion in June, which apparently is that what caused you to finally come into court. Okay, that your vehicle tires, or was it your gas tank? You had a flat tire. Okay.
I had come out, so I work from home. I had 10 people in town for a work retreat, and I had one person staying at my house. We had come out the next morning to leave for this work retreat. My tire was flat, her tire was flat, and then there's another vehicle. So if you're looking at my house, in the very front of my house, there's gravel where I was parked. My driveway is on the right. on the left is a walkway to my front door where there is a camera up there that didn't work at the time. And then the other vehicle that had a slashed tire was directly to the left of the walkway. So my car and this other car that wasn't at my house were 15 feet apart or something. But he never crossed the walkway of my driveway. That's the videos I submitted are my neighbor's cameras. There's another video that was submitted that shows him walking all the way around the neighborhood. And then another video showing him slash the tire on that yellow car and then going back around instead of just walking from my car to that car that we're so close. So that, and then it was like 2.5 hours later. You can't see him in this video, but you can see somebody near my gas tank with a flashlight for an extended period. And that I had to have cleaned out and couldn't start it, not knowing if there was something in there, but the gas tank was open.
So you took it in somewhere?
A Goodyear Auto.
Okay. And was anything discovered in there?
So I had to replace all 4 tires because you can't just replace one on an all-wheel drive vehicle. This is the 3rd set of tires I've had this year. The friend of mine in my driveway also had to replace all 4 tires. And then my gas tank, officers said, well, if it was open and the cap was loose, it's likely something was in there. But the auto shop said that gasoline eats everything so quickly, they wouldn't be able to tell if there was something in there or not. But that if I would have started my vehicle with something in it, it would have destroyed my engine.
So you had it towed?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Let's see, before I turn to Mr. Joseph, anything else?
Just that this has affected my entire life and my family. I'm a gun owner for the first time in my life, which feels crazy. And I've spent thousands of dollars on security measures and closing my carport so I can safely park my vehicle. My boys who are 16 sleep with hunting knives on every surface in their bedroom and take shifts staying up at night because they want to protect their mom. And I don't go anywhere alone. My friend in the back is domestic violence and MMIP advocate that, assured me how to stay safe. And it's just been terrorizing for months. Don't leave my house, don't go anywhere alone. My IT guy is tracking my location. And it's really scary.
Right. And as far back as, let's see if I can see here. You're asserting that as far back, at least April, you said, stop messaging me. Prior to that, saying sort of needed space, not interested in dating in March. Is that about right? Okay, finally by April. All right, here now. All right, so Mr. Joseph, hear from you on your response to this request for this order. That's why I asked first off if you objected to this. And so now's your opportunity to kind of respond to this petition and the information filed. And if there's anything I should know about, I presume, not to issue this order.
Most of the story, let's say, is true to some degree, but I don't believe that it is all true.
All right. Tell me what you think. I won't know unless you tell me.
Well, we met in December, and I thought we had a good thing going. I did do something that was wrong. I did lie to her about my situation, but it was ultimately true. It's just that it's the details that somebody didn't want to see or to hear. And so she did say, hey, Jesse, stop. I want to take a break. And I took a week off to, kind of let things cool down. And then so I reached out, just to see.
About when that was? When you took a break?
It was a week. So I thought it was April.
Okay.
So I took a week to stop calling, and let her get her situation in order. And the thing was that I cared about Erica, and I cared about her kids. And so when she told me her story, I understood her story. She told me one of her boys had OD'd or had overdosed or something. And so I really took care, to her situation. And so when she said she wanted a break, I got it because of my situation and because of her kids. So I was like, I'm gonna back off. But then she just kind of like, I don't know, she just kind of just cut me off and didn't talk to me or anything. And I was like, well, what's going on? Like, this is, I don't understand. You know, I get you're upset at me, but I'm still concerned about your kids and just you and your well-being. And so it kind of put me in a situation to where I'm like, well, what's going on? Like, I'm kind of lost in the dark, and then I feel like I've been betrayed in some sense. And so I was upset, don't get me wrong, but I'm not doing anything to anybody's gas tank for sure. That's not something I'm doing. I did slash the tires, but the reason for that is because I feel like she lied to me just like I lied to her about her relationship. And so it kind of worked out that way. I actually didn't get the call from the officer until August 4th. And he actually served me that morning on the 5th. And so that's kind of that. But I'm not here for malicious. I wish you just talk to me like a civil person, like just sit down and talk to me and see if we can work things out. But clearly it was over her head, or she's not capable of doing it. I don't know. But that's what happened. And I do apologize for the things that I did. I did slash the tires because I was jealous because her partner, whoever this person is, that spent the night, I just felt like, why even take the time to reach out to me? Because I didn't initiate the whole dating thing. I kind of was sitting there chilling by myself, and you came to me. So it is what it is. I'm here to just kind of make peace, move on with my life. Things have changed, so I'm just trying to finish this up. If we gotta make peace, if you want to give me an order, then give me an order. But I'm not here to be aggressive to her kids or her. Maybe her vehicle, yes, but I'm not here for that. I work at a children's hospital. I have 2 kids of my own. I'm not here for all that. Like, that's not. I just want to communicate with the person that I thought I actually enjoyed their time with and spent time with them. And that's what I'm here for. And then I just wanted to communicate with her that she did not want to communicate with me. And it leads to a bunch of chaos in your own mind. So that's what I'm here for. And I'm here to move forward. So like I said, yes, I'm gonna deny the order, but if you extend it for however long the person.
So April, you thought we're taking a break. I'll get a hold of you in about a week. And then after that, you felt like you were cut off. Did you have any other conversations, texts, phone calls, anything after that?
I text her. I kind of gave her my text, like, it's like, hey, how are you doing? You know, and then just to show like that I actually care. So I would send her songs or something of that nature. But nothing where I'm not going to hurt you. I'm going to hurt your kids. None of that. That's not what I was sending.
Okay. So then, all right. So there's an agreement there that there was things left, and then June 25th, didn't do anything to the gas tank, but you were jealous and you did slash the tire. And then what about the allegations of coming by 3 o'clock in the morning, July 19th, driving down Ruddle Road?
This person?
Someone else driving, you being a passenger?
No, I don't recall that. I usually pretty straightforward doing something.
That would have been a Friday.
Other person.
Or maybe a Saturday morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm not sure. All right. So that,
No,
recollection or didn't happen.
I don't know. Solo, I'm usually a solo person. I don't.
Okay. Just re-reviewing information here. If I have any other questions from anybody. I need the file there.
I wish also, because her son did contact me, and we had a conversation. And
Do you know when that happened?
I'm going to say it happened sometime between. Can I use my phone? Sure. July 21st.
So he texted or called or?
Yeah, at 2 a.m.
All right. And did you respond or?
Yes, I did.
Okay. All right. So since that time, have you been having contact independently from the 16-year-old?
No, that was just the one time. He was curious kind of what was going on, and I was also curious about what was going on, and so we kind of just talked a little bit, but
okay. All right. All right, so Mr. Joseph, Ms. Warren, I am going to continue this order. It's going to be for a year, and it means, Mr. Joseph, that you don't contact Ms. Warren or the kids. Now, Ms. Warren, you're going to have to talk to your sons. They're old enough to kind of text people and call people and go see people. You're going to have to talk to your sons about this order, that it includes them and that you're the one who says who they have contact with. And you have to make sure they understand that don't put, if whatever their feelings are as to Mr. Joseph, don't put him in peril by contacting him. Mr. Joseph, if you get further texts, phones, they drop in whatever from the kids, you got to take yourself away from that. And so I count on you, Ms. Warren, to kind of police your kids.
I tried to keep his last name secret for months and months and months, and they saw the third order, and
they're pretty, they're 16-year-olds.
right.
Yeah, so scoop them. All right, so Mr. Joseph, then I'll write up this order. It's not going to change from what the temporary order was. Let me pay attention to this, and then I'm going to turn back to both of you and kind of explain things.
Can the order be for longer than 1 year?
At this stage, I'm going to issue it for a year. There is the possibility, if you feel you need it to go longer, you can apply to the court within 3 months of it expiring. So this is August 19th. So starting third week in May, you can ask the court to reconsider. And then kind of the burden shifts there to Mr. Joseph to prove that there isn't going to be any other unlawful harassment. And then the court would have a hearing to determine if the order should go forward farther. And you would be notified, Mr. Joseph, and we'd be back here again. Let me pay attention to this real quick, and I can answer questions as we go. Yes. So this mirrors, Mr. Joseph, you just stay away from the kids, stay away from Ms. Warren, don't in any way, in person, through family or friends, social media, in any way. Stay 1,000 feet away from wherever she lives, and so now we know they're going no way to get across town. And this will expire August 19 of 2025, unless Ms. Warren asks the court for further hearing to discuss that, and then you'd be given notice, and we'd hear some more from you as well, in the same way that we're doing it here. All right, so I'm going to have my clerk make copies. There'll be one in the court file as well. So if you wanted to wait for a copy, you can, or you can be on your way and access it from the court file. Ms. Warren, would you like to wait or not?
I can wait until it's sent or whatever it is. And I'm just wondering, can I get a transcript from today or something for the civil case for the damages?
You can contact the court after today and get that. Mr. Joseph, do you want to wait for the order or just, okay, we'll get that done here pretty quickly. Okay, so Ms. Warren, by coming on up here and getting your copy, and then you can be on your way. And then Mr. Joseph, once we have your copy, I'll just ask you to wait 5 minutes so that Ms. Warren and her friend can clear and you won't have to run into any trouble bumping into each other. All right. So, come on up here, Mr. Joseph, and grab that order, and then just stay in the courtroom till 10 to 10. If you would, that'd be great. Thanks. All right, so Ms. Rasmussen, looks like you were able to perfect service on Mr. Robinson on July 23rd. And it gave notice of today's date at 9 o'clock, and it's now 11, after 11. He's not here, and he's not responding. No one's made any notice of appearance. So Ms. Rasmussen, I can issue this order that would mirror the temporary order in default or without his presence, because I can see that he, I can make a finding he had notice and likely just decided not to be here. Is that what you're asking?
Yes, Your Honor, and I'm going to ask for something a little bit unique. I have been advised to ask for a 50-year restraining order, which I know.
A 50-year restrainer, I don't have that authority. I really don't. So
I would ask the court to extend it for as long as possible. A couple weeks ago, he was arrested on 9 felony counts a block from my house, and he burned down half the woods with Molotov cocktails. He assaulted police officers and park employees. He's volatile and dangerous, and I've been advised by OPD that he may do 6 months in Western State and be released, and that I should ask for an order of protection that will extend as far as possible.
Has that been charged yet? Was he heard in court? Okay, I see that. And
I don't believe so. No, those are just his arrests.
Slade, I see now. Just wait for this. And there is an order out of that court, but trying to open it and see what that's all about. Assault three, harassment, threats to kill, and an incendiary device. And have you talked at all to the prosecutor's office about those cases?
Officer Watkins is our neighborhood officer, and he's very familiar with this individual. We don't have these kind of incidents in our neighborhood other than this. And he advised me that he had passed on my information to the prosecutor as an involved party. I think I forgot the term.
Okay.
So I will, but that's pretty new information. I also wanted to add that on or around the time of his arrest, I believe it was the same day as the Molotov cocktail incident, my roommate's car window was smashed out. So there continues to be visits from this individual to my home and my property. There's destruction of property. I don't have direct proof that that was him. But again, just the timing of the incident and the fact that I've lived here for 5 years and I've never had an incident such as this. I've purchased cameras that capture the entire property. It's pretty wooded. It's pretty dark. So I've got floodlights, cameras. I feel like I've taken all the steps, but we continue to have these negative experiences and encounters. And with the advice from Officer Watkins, from the supervisor at OPD that I spoke with, I would just ask the court to extend this order of protection as far as possible, because it is difficult to serve him. I guess it was fortunate this time that they were able to serve him while he was in jail. The sheriff's office, their exact commentary was, this is great because when we have to serve him and he's not in jail, he always attacks our officers and it's a 3-officer call. So I would love to avoid continuing this, extending this. I mean, my hope is obviously that this doesn't happen anymore. He is squatting, or was squatting before his arrest, in a neighbor's yard. The day that he was served, she came to my house to address me about it in a calm manner. I think that she wanted to try to preserve relations. She didn't seem to understand the gravity of the situation, but she did inform me that he often has delusions and believes that I stole his ID and his business idea. So that's why he keeps coming back to my property, because of this delusion. The neighbors have met.
So that 300 feet excluded period, that was because of that point he was, as you say, squatting on the neighbor's property?
Yes.
So he doesn't live within 300 feet of you?
I'm not sure if you would classify it as that or not, because I'm not sure about squatters' rights.
He doesn't have a house or an apartment within 300 feet of you, or 1,000 feet of you? Okay.
No,
all right.
He's transient.
Okay, that's what I thought I read in the other information from Superior Court.
And I did do a record search. His criminal record is in Washington, is dating back to
Well, I can see it right here.
I just thought it was relevant that a quarter of his charges are violations of protection orders, and they all come with an assault.
All right, so what I'm going to do here is I've had benefit to look at his record and some of the background information here and what's going on recently with some other folks, as you say, in your neighborhood. So I can make a 3-year order, August 5th, 2027, and start taking into consideration if indeed, what I read here and what you're telling me is that there's a competency evaluation that was ordered. What that means is that, it sounds like the officer said he was released pending that, or he was sent to Western State Hospital in custody.
Oh, he is in custody in Thurston County Jail right now. He's not been sentenced or sent anywhere.
Right. So Western State Hospital will come in and talk to him and do an evaluation. It sounds like Superior Court has the ability to a much longer period of competency issues. So you may want to be in direct contact with the prosecuting attorney's office every very, very often, so you kind of know what's going on and see if they can't give you information through their crime victim advocate. you may want to, and then you'll know more about that event. But I'm taking into consideration that when I do this 3-year order, because that criminal case could take some time and to resolve, but this order's in effect. And that criminal case doesn't seem to list you as a crime victim that would be given attention in that sense of an order. So I think this will cover a good amount of time and within my ability and jurisdiction to do. So this will be in the court file, or are we sending things by email?
It's available by today. If I can.
Okay. That's right. It'll be in the court file by the end of the day, certainly by tomorrow morning, but and then it doesn't need to be served as he's gotten notice personally already, and the conditions are the same. So any other questions about that, how to get at that order?
No, Your Honor, I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, that's it for today. So, do I have Derek Acosta in the courtroom? Derek Acosta, or not on Zoom? And I did not see that you were able to get him notice of today's date, or did you?
I did. I passed it off to the office at Thurston County Sheriff.
Did you get it into the district court? Do you have anything? Did you get anything from the sheriff that they gave him notice at today's date? Did you get anything back from them?
I don't believe I did.
Okay, that's the first start. I don't know if he was given notice at today's date, and neither do you. You just know that you started that. So we're looking around to see if there's anything filed with us. Nothing?
No access.
Okay. So he hasn't been served notice, so I can't go forward without him present. What I can do is reset this, and you can see what you can do about getting notice to him for the next hearing. Is that what you wanted to do? All right.
Yeah.
So we'll just reset. Regina Attaway.
Still looking at August.
All right. Attaway present. Ah, there you are. Okay. So you're both here. All right. We'll have to, I think what we're going to do is just reset your hearing, give you notice. I'm not going to be able to get to things today. I have another hearing I need to do with Mr. Crow and his two clients.
Your Honor, given the amount of time that's left, the amount of testimony and evidence that we've got, and the fact that we've just discovered a new witness fairly recently who lives across the street from the petitioners and witnessed the May 8th incident in person, but we haven't had a chance to get a declaration in from him. I'm going to be asking the court for just the briefest possible continuance so we can at least get that testimony on and have enough time for us to fully present our case and our evidence.
Okay, well, all right. Let me come back to these two cases, 24197 and 24198. Sarah, where you are. Ms. Hoy, Mr. Clark. Ms. Hoy and Mr. Clark, you're coming in. You can just unmute Mr. Clark. That would help. There you go. All right. So no one's fault today, but it's 11:20. We usually end things at noon. We try not to go over. We've got staff and clerk and shortages and all that. So I try to get people their lunches and so forth. So it's not likely we're going to go far in afternoon, but the request from Mr. Crow on behalf of his clients is to have a brief continuance so he can talk with, investigate another witness.
I've already spoken with the witness. We're just trying to get him in here, or at least get a
Right.
declaration back from him so we can
Or a
get him in here.
declaration.
But we are actively following up,
And then you would need to get that, if you had a declaration, get that to Mr. Clark and Ms.
of
Hoy.
course.
And given what I'm hearing is there may be extended evidence taken. All right, well, that's the request. Ms. Hoy, Mr. Clark, maybe Ms. Hoy, I'll start with you. Anything to say as to that request for a short continuance? If we can do a short continuance.
Your Honor, we would also like a continuance because the declarations that were filed on, or excuse me, that I received were not received by me until August 1st at 4:44. So they were not timely filed. So we requested they're stricken for the hearing that was scheduled for today.
Well, I'm asking about a continuance from defense. That's the request, not for your motions. I'll take yours up next if I don't do that. But so as to that request. Is
I'm
why
fine
as
with
to that.
continu-
request.
Yes, as to that request, I'm fine with continuing the hearing, although I'm a little concerned as to the untimeliness. So if we are to receive a declaration from them, I'd like an opportunity to respond.
Okay. All right, Mr. Clark, your point of view on that motion to continue?
I agree. As long as things are submitted in a timely manner, that makes sense.
So I could set a deadline for everybody to get everything in and say, if you don't get it in by that date, the court just shreds it. Well, not shreds it. It would be in the court file, but the court wouldn't review it. And I can kind of do that. And I think everybody, that sounds like the issue here. These things happen quickly. This has been going on a while. But Mr. Crow, I think you just made your notice of appearance at the last hearing. I can't quite remember, but I'm not blaming anybody here at this stage, but we are going to set some deadlines and everyone will follow them. So I'm a little worried about the 19th because we're setting this week to that and we've already set out to that.
Yeah, so any
26 looks like anything. All right, so then we do this every Monday. September, well, actually that week will be Tuesday, right? September 3rd would be the day after the holiday.
That's fine.
Tuesday it would be though, not a Monday. So
Okay,
Ms.
I'm looking
Hoy,
at- yeah, my
Mr.
calendar's
Clark, how's that look?
I'm sorry, what was the date, Your Honor?
Tuesday, September 3rd, number 3, Tuesday, September 3rd.
Yes, that works for me.
Mr. Clark?
The only concern I have is reading to Friday afternoon, getting this and reading it, that there's a stipulated order of continuance that's been filed.
I didn't see that at all. I don't have that before me.
That's not in this case.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you in the right?
Maybe not, I'm sorry.
Okay. How's September 3rd look? It's a Tuesday morning instead.
September 3rd. That works.
Okay, we got it. September 3rd, Tuesday, 9 a.m. We'll be in court in 4. Okay, and we'll send you how we send information out to everybody. Yeah, but then these guys will get that information by email. So Ms. Hoy, Mr. Clark, my clerk will send you information by email about where you need to be. It's courtroom number 4 instead of 3. It'll be Tuesday the 3rd in the morning. Mr. Crow, since you're here, we can just hand it to you if you need that.
It's fine.
And then the orders remain in effect until the end of that hearing. So let me write those up, give those to everybody, and then look to Mr. Crow, Mr. Clark, Ms. Hoy, look to my clerks here if there are any questions about where, when, that sort of thing between now and then. But we know it's September 3rd.
I do have a question, Your Honor.
Yep.
The topic I talked about earlier, it may not be about this order, but it's about the case that this order originated from. What would happen to what we're doing if there was a stipulated order of continuance that this was dismissed prior to having?
Well, that means you agree. That means you've all agreed to something and you've signed off. So I don't have that for me.
The stipulated order of continuance that he's referring to was in a assault 4 case out of Young Municipal Court.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with this case other than that it's related to the altercation between Mr. Clark and Mr. Bailey.
It's just proof from defense that
Correct.
something was filed in a different court.
Correct.
Okay.
That's all.
That makes sense. It's evidence filed by defense about a different case in a different court, not in this court. So this order is continuing until the end of the next hearing when a decision is going to be made.
I guess the reason why the question was important to me is because that case is the reason why this originated.
Okay. And we're going to talk all about that apparently when we get into court on September 3rd, whether that relevant or
how would I learn more about the order of continuance? Is that something that we were supposed to be informed of or sign up?
I would talk to the City of Yelm Prosecuting Attorney's Office.
They don't
Mr. Crow?
respond.
The City of Young prosecuting attorney is a contracted position. It's Garrett Ratfield with Dilly Law.
For Dilly Law.
Yeah.
So apparently I would, that's information that Mr. Crow is filing. It happened in apparently Yelm Municipal Court. You can contact Yelm Municipal Court. You can contact the prosecutor with Dilly Law apparently about that.
What will we do if the
Apparently that's
prosecutor
all.
doesn't respond to our emails?
Yeah,
We don't,
I don't
there's
know.
no communication from the prosecutor when we reach out.
I can't help you there. I can't force the executive branch to do things. I guess, I don't know. I would continue to contact the municipal court. Maybe they can be of assistance or continue to talk to Dilly Law. I don't know. All right, so further service, of course, is not required. Everybody knows what's going on. So anything else, Mr. Crow?
Nothing further.
Anything else, Mr. Clark? No?
No.
Okay, Ms. Hoy?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so these orders will be available by the end of the day in the court file, or just contact my clerks and they'll get them to you and help you with that. If there's an email on file, they can also send it to you if you want. Back to the sheriff's front counter, what did they tell you?
លោកបានទៅកន្លែងប៉ារ៉ូរបស់ប៉ូលីសតំបន់ណា
ឲ្យមកហើយជា2ម៉ោងកន្លងគាត់មកប៉ូលីសទៅដល់ប៉ូលីសទៅ
Your Honor, on that day when I came back to this office, Your Honor, to this sheriff's office, and I got the paper, and Roger Palmer left, and then the police went there, and the father was there. But the officer at the counter told me that the father came out from the resident very irately, you know, and with a gun. And the paper was not be able to serve on Mr. Roger Palmer. The police staff did not tell me what's the incident that happened with the father, but she simply told me that the paper was not served on Mr. Roger Palmer.
Do you know where Mr. Palm is by any chance?
Look, I don't know, Your Honor, but the only thing that I know that Mr. Palmer, Roger Palmer, and the father worked together, some sort of like a contractor, our state contractor, and the father seldomly stay at the residence, and he came a few times a year. He worked in Florida. But this year, for some reason, Mr. Roger Roger Palmer came to this residence very often. Every time when he came to this residence, Your Honor, he caused me a lot of problem. I believe the father have warning him not to cause us any problem, but for some reason, he's a violent person, Your Honor. For some reason, it causes us a lot of problem and threatening our life.
Well, Mr. Ross, what I can do today is set another hearing if you think you can get notice to Mr. Palm. The law doesn't let me just issue an order without having a hearing because of everyone's constitutional rights to be heard by the court before that. So I can set another hearing if you want to try and get notice to Mr. Palm. Is that what you would like?
Yeah, I would like to have another hearing, Your Honor. However, would you give me a little more time, Your Honor, probably 30 days to serve him, Your Honor?
Yes.
Because I need to perfect this service, Your Honor, and it seems to be very difficult to do it. I need a little more time. Also, it's hard for the officer to serve him also, Your Honor, because when the father have a weapon like that, a gun like that, you know, the police officer is having a hard time serving Mr. Roger Palmer.
Are you aware that you can use law enforcement, but you can also hire a company that does legal notice? Do you know that?
I have no money, Your Honor.
You can hire a business that does this if you want. Do you know that?
I don't want to cause anybody problem, Your Honor. It's going to be very hard, and from what I know, that Roger just got out of a protection order that lasts for about 10 years.
Well, then we're looking at September 3rd or September 10th, which is
any day before besides September 10th, Your Honor?
About September 9th or September 3rd?
Yeah, September 9th is fine, Your Honor. What do you mean?
Okay. All right, September 9th, 9 o'clock. We'll hand you at least the new document that tells you what that new court date is, and that needs to get to Mr. Palm. And how will we get the service package? Mr. Ross, then we'll either email you the whole what we call a service packet, or you can stop at the civil counter on your way out today and wait as they add away. And my first question is of you, Ms. Rebello. Are you still asking the court to consider issuing an order against Ms. Attaway?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Attaway, then we're going to have a hearing here, and I'm going to hear from Ms. Rebello if there's anything more. I'm going to hear from you, but I see that you were served notice of this hearing back July 24th. So are you prepared to go forward to respond to her petition and the information here that the court's considering? Are you ready to go forward for the court to make this decision?
I haven't had a chance to review information that was included in the petition.
How come? That was July 24th.
How
did you get it? Did you get it in hand or electronically, or how did you get it?
Paper.
Okay.
Service. And through the reading, it's found where I could locate the electronic documents. I believe there's electronic documents that I didn't have a chance just because it's electronic.
Photographs. Did you get any photographs
I didn't
with
get
yours?
any photographs.
Didn't get any photographs. That's not good. Okay. Just trying to remember what it, let's see. Yeah. So you just got the written petition, which was several pages long. Okay. And you didn't get the corroborating evidence. Let's see what's there. It's a video, I think.
There should be 2 videos and then a couple of pictures.
And that information also should have been provided. And you probably didn't think about this, Ms. Rebello, but you got to get everything to Ms. Attaway.
When I had spoken to the county clerk, they told me that I only had a certain amount of days to get her served. And then as well as it took couple of times, it took time to get the police report from OPD. The evidence that was submitted.
So is there also something else that you want? The OPD, you didn't give that to Ms. Attaway either?
This was all submitted.
So it sounds like there's more information that needs to be reviewed before I can fairly go forward with this case.
Can you review it in court?
Pardon?
I thought, because when I had talking to the county clerk about how I go about doing this, they told me that I have at least a week to go ahead and submit any evidence. They told me to get her served.
Right, but that's great, and you did that. But a lot of times people aren't able to access things well, and that came in the 31st, which is, it's fair. Things happen here quickly, and here we are. So 31st was Thursday. Was that Wednesday? I can't remember now. So I have to give everybody an opportunity to be sure that you're ready. Ms. Attaway is saying that there's information she hasn't reviewed, and there's something filed in the court file on Wednesday. So is there any information that you think, just from what you've reviewed, Ms. Attaway, that you're going to file with the court?
I know I will file supporting documents.
Okay.
Well.
If there are any statements from people, you have to get them under oath and notarized so that the court can consider them. If they're just somebody signs something, it has no value because I can't. Or you bring them in and we can hear from them in person, put them under oath, judge credibility, all that stuff. But you're allowed to bring in declarations, and declarations mean under oath, notarized, that they're what they are and what they're really saying. So sounds like what we're going to do is set this over. I'm going to get you a date. We're going to figure out when we can. I'm going to make a deadline for everyone to get things into the court file. Ms. Attaway, so you're not able to get into the court file? Is that the problem?
I believe the instructions were to be present here. No, the instructions that I read to get the information was after how to get here and things like that. So I didn't actually get access through the links.
So the Zoom issue, how do you connect here today? And how do I file information the judge consider?
That part.
All right. And so help me out here. How would she know how to get into the court file other than the Zoom?
It's all written on the Zoom instruction.
Just on the Zoom
And
info.
on the back side, it also talks about how to do and how to file.
They have one page here. Oh, I see. It's not.
And that can you confirm that?
Okay.
When she was served as well? Because that should.
Well, that's up to you to make sure that that packet.
Yeah.
It should have that week. Okay, so yeah, that second page, how do we see it was filed? So how do I view any evidence? You need to look, that's how you get in there. All right, so this is the deal. We're going to set a new court date. We're going to set a deadline. If there isn't anything else, there isn't anything else. But if there is, let's find a court date first.
Something with the court if possible.
Yep.
Can I request a temporary granted?
At this stage, I'm not issuing a temporary, reviewing the information I have before the court. I still don't find that I'm gonna have a
Even the
basis
police
to do
report
that.
Based on stating that they
Right.
told me to get a protection order.
Well, they often do that when they are like, I don't know what to do. They often say, go to the court.
Even
and
though
they
had
often
found
aren't
probable
right.
cause as well
I don't
as-
find in all the information that I reviewed before this hearing that was in this court file, which included the police department report, no, not issuing
Can you
it.
confirm that the police report is in there?
I read it. I can tell you that last week. So when it came in on Wednesday. So what date? Okay. I'm worried about the 19th now because how many did we set? We have just two
Because everything that comes in today is.
and all week. All week.
Always though.
Yeah, all week it's gonna go there. So 26th, August 26th, August 26th, okay, August 26th it is. We're gonna hand you both notice. Nobody has to serve notice to each other, you both know. But can I write on there before you do that? Deadlines for getting things in. So I'm gonna say, look at this.
And if I may ask, Your Honor, how do I see the evidence that she submitted? If we come to court again on this.
That's why I'm writing this order that says no later than the 19th, everybody gets whatever information you want the court to consider in. And then you go to the court file and you look.
My question is
Yeah.
mostly because the reason why that we're getting a continuance today is because she said that she didn't have time to review all of the evidence that I submitted against her.
Right.
But if she submits evidence against me and.
By the 19th, if it's not in by the 19th, court won't look at it.
But how do my question is, ma'am.
And then
how
you
do
go to
I
the court
about
file.
seeing it? How
Yeah.
do I go about seeing it? It's my
Why don't we
question.
print her out that form?
Cool, thank you.
Important that at this stage, if you have difficulty getting in there, contact the clerks right away.
I've already submitted. all
You know,
my
if you have any right away, don't wait until the 25th to start looking at things. Okay, so start looking. So there's things in there right now from the petitioner, and no later than the 19th, do you file things with the court? And that means that's the Monday before. So 2 weeks from today, you have that. You don't have to file anything, but if there's something, then no later than the 19th. But it means that if you file it the 20th, the court won't look at it. So it won't be persuasive, it won't be helpful because it'll be nothing. And then again, after the 19th, if you have difficulty looking or finding, call the clerks right away so we can help you, so that you can get in there and review everything you need to review. And then we'll have a full hearing on the 26th. And again, nobody needs to serve anybody notice of anything. We got it now. So we're gonna get, and we'll give you information, actually, both of them, I guess. Information on, you're even highlighting, thanks. She's highlighting even. But again, if you have difficulties, just contact the clerks right away.
And if the harassment continues, do I just keep contacting law enforcement?
Contact law enforcement and you can bring that to the attention of the court at each hearing. All right, so it should be on your way. And then Miss Attaway should be on your way.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, so long. Then we're adjourned, right?